Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Planet Coaster. Today we can finally begin decorating everything that is the Harry Potter area. And to make these videos not too repetitive, I will actually do this in a very strange order. You'd expect me to begin at the beginning, over at the Great Hall, then maybe the queue and the station, but no. I have been building the same kind of thing over and over, so actually first let's begin with the Forbidden Forest, because that's nature. I haven't been doing nature in a long time, so I think that is a very nice thing to do right now. So really, let's get straight to it. So an idea I definitely had was this being the hole, like the lair of Aragog. Seems fun. We can even try to build Aragog himself. And then the rest, well, it's just going to be a lot of trees. So let's first have a look at what tree specifically we are going to need. There's of course a few different styles of the Forbidden Forest, but I think the one with the very thick, tall trees is pretty sweet. So let's just kind of go through all of these and see which ones look the closest to that. I'm gonna assume pine trees are already the best bet. We of course have these. However, ideally we want the stem to be very tall and high. Kind of like that. Not very convincing though, is it? I mean, this one has a pretty tall stem as well. Actually, there are not even that many options if you think about it. Hold on, what's this? An elm. This has a nice bottom. It's got like the roots. I do like that kind of effect. However, it's not super tall. I do have a few different ones. No, they're definitely supposed to be some sort of pine tree at least. Whoa, it's the big one again. Yeah, it should totally be something like this, but that's too bad because I really like those kind of roots. This one might actually be it, since it has a very thick, wide kind of root that at least has kind of the same effect. Let's just go and try it out. I'll just put a few of these down here. I'll definitely put a few near misses, such as this branch. Yeah, I think this might actually just be it. However, I reckon we first actually need to make some shaping for the landscape. So let's just kind of make a bit of a hill maybe over here. Very uneven. And to be fair, most of the ground is going to be covered by ferns and plants, so it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, let's just kind of try something here, see what happens. And also, besides Aragog's lair, I don't think there's actually much to it besides trees and nature. However, what I do want to make sure of is that at the back it is closed off. We can do that either by using trees or with a bit of a hill like this. And I'm thinking we just nicely connect it to this little bump. And also I have no idea what's going to be behind this. Maybe nothing. So yeah, we just have to kind of cover it up. It doesn't have to be anything too extreme. Just a bit of a hill and then a bunch of trees and bushes. And I also want to make this hole just a little bit bigger and wider at the front. Here you... Oh, lovely. And then at the top, I want to make a bit of a hill again underneath the track here. Very, very nice. Maybe even a bit of a bigger hill back here to create even more variety in landscape. Also some rocks, of course, but that comes later. Here you go. And then there's, of course, this other hole, and I don't really know what to do with that, but I guess it's just going to be another hole. And then all these rocky edges, I will paint in the rough rock texture because I just really like it. We can always change it later, so for now, let's go with that to kind of create a nice layout for the landscape. And I think, see, this is already looking so much cooler now. Very nice. I mean, I've already said this, I think, but I just love doing nature the absolute most, making things look really nice and, you know, legit. Then in general, I'm a big nature person. I just love the vibes and stuff like that. So yeah, then also we need some moss instead of the grass, because I'm pretty sure the forest is basically covered with just moss and ferns. So let's go ahead and paint a bunch of this on the surface, really just to create like a base we can start off of. Here you go. And even some of these rocks on the side can be a little mossy in some areas. Here, oh, that looks really nice. I'm surprised by how quickly this starts to look nicer this way. Anyway, then let's go ahead and put some trees down. Let's see. I shall just grab this and move it around. I do think we have a few different ones of this kind of tree, but first I'll use this one because it's the biggest, like so. I don't want to set the world on fire. Do have to be careful, of course, not to get too close to the track. See, that branch is a bit too close. There you go. Now let's see if you're sitting inside. Yeah, that's pretty good. And then basically the further away you go from the track, the more dense it has to become. Because as you can see in the movie, they are quite close together actually. But I also think the ferns on the ground are gonna do a ton as well. In fact, before doing all this, let's go and try that out. Because maybe it doesn't and I'll be doing all of this for nothing. Let's see. Fern. Which ones do we have again? We've got the king fern, which is massive. But wait, hold on. I made a brush, didn't I? Custom ferns and bushes and ferns. Okay, that's the very... Oh, that's really nice. And then there's also this, which only puts really small ones. That's not good enough. And there's also vegetation, which is the giant ones. Okay, so I'm thinking ferns and bushes is decent. Let's go ahead and just kind of paint this here on the ground, see what happens. It is very dense, but I do like that. I'm definitely going to replace some of those bigger ferns, however, because this is just not looking very nice. That is very cool, though. I do like that. So these big ones have to go, just like this. And then I will kind of put a few of them in here myself. Some of them also a little bit bigger to create some nice thick areas instead. Then, of course, we also have the rocks. And I guess we use the temperature rocks because those have the moss on it. Yeah. Okay, so let's... Or actually, maybe we should use the tropical one. Does that match better with the rock on the side? I don't think it matters all that much. No, this is fine. So then with this, we can kind of put a few rocks in here somehow. Just spinning them around a little bit just for some extra variety. We also have the really big ones, such as this bad boy over here. And using those, we can create even bigger rocks, especially towards the sides. I think that could be really cool. Oh, yes, that is even better. So this here is just going to be a big rock section. Just a few slightly smaller ones as well towards the ground. And then again, with the scenery brush, we can just kind of paint some ferns around it. Very, very nice. In between all the little crevices and stuff. I also want to make a path where the characters would be walking if they were actually real. The only sad thing about this is, of course, we're never going to have that blue tone over this forest because that's basically just like post-processing. We can do that. We can edit that in, but it's not something you can really do in the game, I think. Pretty sure. Also, I'm still baffled that my PC can still handle this. Like, it is so crazy how much bullshit we've got over here, and still it is going strong. Crazy. And I'm recording this in 4K 60 FPS at the same time. I do not get it. And I also think, by the way, we should probably see this as like my interpretation of the Forbidden Forest, because it won't really have the identical vibe, I think. But I don't think that's a bad thing. It can still look cool, that's the point. It's just really difficult to get that exact same vibe going on, but I do really like this so far. So I did change my mind. I will also add some of these tall, skinny ones, because I really want to get that effect with all the, like, the tree stems. Is it called a stem? I've been saying stem. Is it even called a stem? I'm not sure. The point is, I just want to have more of these tall thingies to make sure we at least kind of get that vibe, right? Because right now, it's just looking like the average forest, which is not ideal. Here you go. I feel like that already... Yes, that definitely helps. Also makes it a lot more dense, so you can actually see the sky, which is good, because in the movie I don't think you can either. I mean, the moonlight does come through every now and again, but well, that's fine. Then I think to cover up the back, we can use slightly more dense trees, which are still pine trees, just a bit different looking, a bit more dense, to make sure you can't see too much of that empty plain that lies beyond. There you go. Let me just put some down and see what that actually looks like, because I think this might just be it. There you go. Look at that. We can do even more though. Back here, so really no light comes through. It's really about the immersion, ladies and gentlemen. I must say, it is starting to get a bit less smooth. I don't know if you've noticed, the recording seems to be fine, but it's definitely losing some of the smoothness. So yeah, maybe this is not... Damn. I'm realizing these ferns are a bit too high, potentially, and it's not really helping for... Look, that's better. It looks a bit more like the Forbidden Forest. It still doesn't, really. But let's first cover up the areas we want to be covered up with ferns. And then later we can kind of see what else we can do. For example, maybe... Let's see what else we have. Shrubs, dry grass, soil. Soil. Yes. Because look, we definitely want to have some kind of area that is not just grass. That's a bit more, I don't know, just like ground, I guess, because there are definitely some spots that have that. We can even put some subtle rock in there as well for some variety, some diversity. There you go. That is looking pretty nice. This is also going to save, you know, data, because there may not be a data limit, but there's definitely the limit of my PC. I have been looking at this, by the way, and I am just hating the way the track looks. This is just not it. So let's go ahead and see what we can do instead. At first I thought maybe brown, but brown is, I mean, it's brown. It's not that special. It's a bit boring, a bit desaturated. I'm not sure that's really the way to go. Maybe beige? Something like this? Let's put that all over and see what that looks like. It's a bit more natural, that's for sure. But the question is, does it look good in the rest of the coaster? Kind of. It's a bit too dark. What if we lighten that up a little bit? Like that. So it matches that castle. Actually, that might just be the way. Here, just like that. So that looks really nice with the castle, of course. But now, does it look nice over at the Uh-oh. Oh no. Oh no. Was that lag in the recording? Because it lagged like hell. Anyway, yes, this does look nice. Okay, well, this might actually just be it. Dude, this is so insanely dense. I don't think I can do the whole area like this. That is most definitely going to be a bit too heavy, I think. But anyway, let me just kind of fix the back side of this, because it's looking pretty boring. A bunch of these big trees here towards the back. That's a bit too close to the track here. Let's just... There you go, beautiful. Let's actually go ahead and sit inside the coaster to see what it looks like so far. Because I'd be lying if I said I wasn't curious. Let's see, so we go up here, then normal speed. Let's see what this looks like. Tab. Very nice. Very nice. It looks very nice indeed, yes. I love that, actually. Okay. I like it. Only question is, are we gonna do the same thing here? Because that's pretty heavy. We could make this like the edge of the forest, kind of. Oh no, technically this should be the edge. A bit off topic, maybe. But what if we first do some bathing? Because you arrive through here and then you can go up here or around it, I think. That way, via both the right and the left, you can get to this, which would be another kind of plaza area, or maybe here, I don't know. So let's actually determine that first. So you arrive here, and then let's put a path that goes down there, maybe? I really don't quite know what the nicest thing would be, so let's just try something. For example, you go down here with a bit of a curve, a little bit further down, and then here you go up, like so. Maybe around here a little bit. And then also, this has to be a chasm, because there will be a bridge from here to the building that's going to be there. So let's make this really nice and... Oh. Wait, that is either a problem or something that could be pretty cool. Actually, that may be pretty cool. Yeah, what if we kind of just... Oh, just have this be open. Look, this should technically connect to this. So let's kind of make this nice and deep. This might actually be nice. Let's have a look. This, however, does have to be closed up because I'm pretty sure this was going to be the Chamber of Secrets. So kind of speaks for itself. I will leave it open for now a little bit so we can actually have some lights to work in there later. But just so you know, this is going to be closed off. And as for the rest of this, let's just kind of sculpt a nice landscape. I'm guessing we can even make a little bit of a chasm between these two parts just to make it nice and natural looking. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. So this is actually cool. I did not know this, but I think we can make this into something pretty sweet looking. I'm just not sure what the deal with that is going to be, but we'll see. There's only one way to find out, and that is later. However, what I can already do, let me just try something, is extending this wall down a little bit. Just like this. Then I shall grab one of these half arches as well. And you guessed it, we create a bit of an arch here. And then I think the idea is pretty clear. You just go out of the castle, back into the castle, and then I don't even know. Same thing on the other side, of course, right over here. And then I would say, at least it makes sense now. This, however, has to go. That looks like ass. Yes, good. The rest is a problem for later, though. We were doing this, actually, today. Yeah, let's see. I'm just gonna have to decide whether or not I will make the whole thing that same kind of effect forest thing type thing. Wow, what am I saying, guys? Speaking is difficult, I guess. Anyway, let me just paint some subtle rock on these walls. On the more horizontal flat areas, some more moss. Here you go, at least for now. looking pretty good. And actually, let's just go ahead and make this another one of those paths as well. Just leading to this, because why not? Who doesn't want to take a walk straight into a chasm? To be fair, now that I look at it, wouldn't this be a nice spot for the Whomping Willow? Or Weeping Willow, whatever you want to call it? I think it really would. Hold on, let me just kind of make this a bit cleaner, like that. Paint some moss on it. And then, because it's a nice open space, we can keep that open as well. We can put the Whomping Willow on there. Yes, I actually really like that idea, especially because you also get a really nice view of it from the coaster. So this is basically just a win-win. First, over here, let me just put some rocks down to create a bit of a wall. Also, because I have no idea what else to do with this area otherwise. I'll put a few of these trees on it for a nice backdrop. I really wish there was some kind of tall grass in this game, like some at least taller than this, where it's actually 3D, because this is, it feels too plain, too clean. I wish there was just some more depth in this. I mean, this is moss, but if it was grass, you know? Because be real, this looks off. It looks boring. Or is this really just me nitpicking? I don't know. Might actually just be me in this case. I haven't even really thought about the pickle of how exactly we're gonna make the Whomping Willow, because as you know, it's got a pretty distinct look. We can't just use a pre-existing tree. That is just gonna look weird. So actually, let's see, because I do remember seeing an actual willow. Yes, Weeping Willow. But that just doesn't look at all like the Weeping Willow, the Whomping Willow. It does give an idea though, and I do like this effect, but this is just not it. To be fair, the Whomping Willow in the movie does not look really that much like a Whomping Willow, a Weeping Willow, because typically the leaves go down, like you can see here. And in the Harry Potter one, the leaves go up, the branches go up, which makes no sense. But, well, yeah, this is not, we can maybe use a few of these. Again, the leaves are supposed to go, yeah, no. It really makes no sense that the leaves go up. But, how, this is a bit of a stinker. Let me think about this. I'll be right back. Okay guys, bit of a change of plan here. Off screen just now I built this, which is just slightly different than what it used to be. It used to just go here and then onto a turntable and up the lift. A bunch of you guys commented that's pretty lame and boring and I should remove one of the turntables. I can't remove one of the turntables because it does need to actually spin back around to go to the forwards position. However, now there's just a little bit of extra track that you go on backwards, of course, until you arrive over here and then you make it back to the chain lift. So it's the same, just a bit more fancy. However, instead of building the Whomping Willow right now, which I do have an idea for it though, I think someone commented this, but Teachman also reminded me, we have these corals and we can change the colors of them, of course. I think we can make that work. We can make a pretty similar looking Whomping Willow, but what is arguably even more important right now is adding water. And a lot of it. Basically, this has to be kind of an island. And then over here in the water, we can also build that kind of stand, like the Tri-Wizards tournament thing, with a little structure that stands in the water, which could be cool. So, yes. Right now, let's first kind of see where that water is going to go. It's definitely going to be connected to this, of course. So let me just first, I won't connect it just yet. That comes later, but let's see. It has to be about that deep, and let's see, it's gonna be very wide, very big. First, let's just grab kind of a base shape for the water area just around this. Really, it's gonna look very bad for now, but trust me, this will look, well, hopefully look amazing in the end. I'm just gonna get like a cutout, so this is all gonna be the edge, and then here the coaster goes over the water. There you go. Extend that a bit further outward. I know this looks very weird, but the water is going to fix it, or at least that's what I hope. There you go. Just really, really big all the way around here, and that also kind of fixes the whole backdrop of the forest, because there's just like sea behind it, or water. There you go. I really don't know how big this is gonna end up being. We can always extend it later. For now, it just needs to go all around, because then this right here is gonna be the Jurassic Park area border. We'll really go into that kind of. There you go. Now the question is, do we connect it with this, or is that gonna be, I think we could make like a canal between this, very thin, very narrow, just like this, and then we can put like a bridge over it. I don't know, and we'll fix the look of that later. So let's get rid of the water real quick. There you go. And then it always crashes whenever I do this. So I hope it's gonna work this time. Let's connect it. Beautiful. And then the same thing over here. And then before actually putting in the water, let's paint some of this sand, because I probably did that for a reason over at the pirate area. It just looks a lot better. Here you go. So the ground is gonna be sand, and then the edges can remain rock. Okay, now before putting in the water, let me just go and save this because this has happened before and it will not happen again. So, then let's go ahead and go to water. We used the rough water and then always you gotta kind of see how high it was supposed to be. Right here. That, I think. Oh, it didn't crash. Does it look nice? Oh, that is really cool, yeah. Also gives you kind of an outline of where this area ends, like the border of this area, because otherwise it never really stops. Yes, I like this. I'm not sure about the shape yet of the island. It's a bit boring. It's a bit too roundish. But we can always change that later. For example, here, I think we can have something on here, like a little blob with like a structure on it. Maybe the owlery. Yeah, actually, let's do. It's a bit too round. It is very annoying though that you cannot do this with the water in it. I don't know why that is, but yeah, that's kind of annoying. Let me just go and make like a little blob here, just like this. We can paint that correctly in just a minute. I'm just not entirely sure where the water stops, but I think this should be pretty good. And some more of that rock on the edges. Maybe here as well, just a little bit rounder could be good. And maybe this I'll just kind of leave rock. It's pretty cool to have some cliff looking elements in here. So let's re-add the water, not before saving it though. And there it is. Let's see if this is a bit better. Oh, that's definitely better. Yeah, I like that. It's a bit more random. I mean, this sticks out very far, but we can put something on here. Maybe the owlery. Could be cool, because if I do remember correctly, it is pretty far away from the castle, so it would make sense. Or we can improvise and put like a lighthouse there. I don't know. Anything. Point is, this is now looking a whole lot better already, and I like it. For today, I do think that is actually quite plenty. This has taken quite long in total, so I do like where this is going. I really do. I reckon in the next episode, we kind of expand this area further, adding some more trees, adding the Whomping Willow, but also back here, just making sure all these shores look nice, adding some maybe small structures, little fun details, that Triwizard thing. I don't know. All sorts of cool stuff, that's the point. Once again, also, as always, if you have ideas, let me know down below in the comments, especially now, because this is the point where we start adding fancy bits. For example, all of these elements could have something cool to it. I'm not sure. If you do, make sure to let me know. And then for today, that is it. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, hit the bell not to miss a single future video, and then I hope I'll see you in the next episode of Building Benny's Movie Park in Planet Coaster.